sure. I'm done running from my past.
YouTubers and all social media lands, welcome to an all-new video. In this video we're going to be talking about a new Marvel film that finally got released in theaters that was postponed since 2020 and is just a fantastic film that I can't wait to talk about. So we're going to get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video or any other videos I put up. As always, people, if you enjoy my content and want to check out my other social media platforms, definitely check them out under either Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, which I also post on pretty much a daily basis. So definitely check those out. And as always, people, let's get right into this. Welcome one and all to an all-new video. So like I was saying before, we're going to be doing a review of a new film that was postponed since 2020 that finally got a theatrical release this year and is a great Marvel film that we all have been waiting for. And that, of course, is the film called Black Widow. Yeah, Black Widow. Finally, we got to see Black Widow, finally. So Black Widow, of course, is a prequel film that is supposed to be taking place between Civil War, the end of Civil War, and the beginning of Infinity War. So this is kind of like a prequel film, kind of showing you the gaps of what happened with Natasha, and is just a really interesting kind of backstory to tell. Now, this film is none other directed by a up-and-coming director who I actually, hadn't heard anything or seen any of her other movies, but is a pretty decent director. And then, of course, is the director known as Kate Shortland. Oh, yeah, Kate Shortland. Oh, yeah. Kate. Ooh. So, Kate Shortland, like I said, I didn't know much about her until I did a little bit of research. This is the very first film I've ever seen her direct, and I thought she did a good job. But a couple films she's also directed are considered pretty big films, or indie hits, I would like to call them. That has it's pretty much a dramatic element type of film that has to do with, drama, basically. And that happens to be a film called Somersault. Oh yeah, Somersault. Ooh. So Somersault was actually one of her first films. It was a really big hit. She got a lot of praise for it, and that she did a really fantastic job with it, they said. They also said that the storytelling, the writing, the acting, and just the music and soundtrack alone were really impressive, too, for her very first, film debut. Definitely, it's something that if you like Black Widow, you might want to check out her Somersault film and see her other directing style. The other film that Kate has directed is another film I haven't had a chance to see, but is a foreign film type of deal. It was made over in Australia, actually, but it's all in English and everything. And then, of course, the film called The Berlin Syndrome. Yeah, The Berlin Syndrome. Ooh. So this film is like a huge indie hit that was a Cannon's Film Festival selected film, and like I said, I don't know much about the film. I read a little bit about it. I saw that it was a huge hit. Once again, just kind of like Somersault. But it's also just another great film that Kate Shortland has created. And that she did another great job in that she was actually nominated for Best Director for this film. Very interesting story, very different, and definitely something I'll have to check out eventually in the future. But from my understanding, she did a really good job of directing it. But like I was saying before, with Black Widow, I thought that Kate did a really good job. I thought she made a really decent film. You definitely could tell that this film was very different than the other previous MCU films. It had a very spy thriller feel to it, but also I just thought she had a really great eye for action, surprisingly. I thought she did a good job with the action sequences. Really great choreography, really great story, and I just thought that she brought a really good element out of it and given us some more of who Natasha Romanoff is. Giving us a decent backstory and more into the Red Room. So this movie has a really great cast that I loved this entire cast. Everyone that was in it was really awesome, and I just really enjoyed these actors and actresses as a whole and other movies as well. Now, of course, to start us off in this cast is none other than Natasha Romanoff herself, Miss Scarlett Johansson! Oh yeah, Scarlett Johansson! Woo! The gorgeous and beautiful Scarlett Johansson. I mean, I remember seeing her in Eight-Legged Freaks back in 2002 and absolutely was falling in love with her. I had a huge crush on her. She just was, like, so gorgeous. But as an actress, she really has changed over the last, 20 years and has become an amazing actress who really showed her acting chops definitely through the MCU films, I feel. I think she's really developed a great character with Natasha Romanoff. Now, of course, a couple films I really enjoyed her in are as followed. Now, the first one is a great Woody Allen directed film starring Hugh Jackman called Scoop. Oh yeah, Scoop. Yeah. Scoop is a really great movie, and Scarlett Johansson really showed a different side to her. She showed a little bit of a comedy chop, she showed a little bit of kind of a thriller chop, and she also showed a little bit of a mystery chop to this film. Because basically the story is she's trying to figure out who this supposed killer is, the serial killer that leaves these playing cards, and basically how she gets mixed up in this whole story, trying to figure it out and end up finding the real killer and having to deal with it. And it just is a really fun kind of comedy film slash thriller, drama a little bit, and then just mystery film. And I just really enjoyed her, and I thought she did a good job. I thought she worked really well with Hugh Jackman and Woody, and I just thought she brought a really great presence to that film and was a really great lead actress in the film. If you haven't seen Scoop, definitely check it out. She was really fantastic in it. Now, the second film she was in that I really enjoyed is a great film that she did a couple years ago that was very different, I felt, comedy-wise for her than, seeing her in the previous, MCU films that she really had been doing the past several years. And that, of course, is a film called Rough Night. Oh, yeah. Rough Night. Ooh. Rough Night didn't get a huge following. It wasn't a huge hit. A lot of people didn't care for it. I myself really enjoyed it, and I thought it was a really great kind of party comedy, growing up type of film. And I just really liked Scarlett, and I liked her character. I thought she was funny. I liked how she presented herself throughout the film, and I just enjoyed her camaraderie and her interactions with the other actresses in the film, and I just thought she made a really great funny performance in the film. If you haven't seen Rough Night, definitely give it a roll, people. It's worth a watch, and Scarlett is really great in it. But of course, when it comes to her playing, Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff in Black Widow, she once again is Natasha. And the evolution of her character in this film, you can definitely see how different it is from, her first cameo, or, brief part in Iron Man 2. And even from, the Avenger films, from Avengers 1 and Avengers 2, you can see how much her character has differentiated and, changed throughout the films. And she really showed that in this with a lot more emotion, a lot more, camaraderie, and a lot more wanting to, fix her past and so forth and stuff like that. To change who she was, what the Red Room turned her into. And, Scarlett did a great job of bringing that to life and giving us this really new, great interpretation of Black Widow, along with keeping that same Black Widow we have come to love and know. Really well done by Scarlett, and really enjoyed her in the film. So that brings me to the next actress I like to talk about that was in this film. And that is none other than Alina herself, Miss Florence Pugh. Oh yeah, Florence Pugh, woo! Or Florence Pudge, however you want to say it, woo! So Florence, who is an amazing actress, absolutely love this gal. She is just fantastic in this film, and I really enjoyed her as Alina in this film. Now, a couple films that I've really enjoyed her in as is followed. Now, the first film is a great film based on an actual real-life actress slash wrestler known as Paige in the WWE. And then, of course, the film called Fighting with My Family. Oh, yeah. Fighting with My Family. Now, Florence actually plays Paige's character, or plays Paige in the film, and basically shows her kind of rise to becoming this WWE star she is. And I thought Florence did an amazing job with the character and showed, a really great side to Paige and showed her really great class and just gave this really great performance. I loved her interactions with Nick Frost. I loved her interactions with everyone in the film. And I just thought she did a really good job of bringing to life Paige's story and giving this really fantastic film. Now that brings me to the second film that Florence was in that I really enjoyed her in. And that is a great remake that they made at the end of 2018, beginning of 2019, called Little Women. Oh yeah, Little Women. Ooh, this is such a great film. It was a great readaptation of the film. I was a big fan of the 1994 film with Winona Ryder, Kristen Dunst, you know, all the great people that were in that film, Claire Danes and so forth. But this was actually a really well done remake. I mean, you had a huge cast that involved some really great up and coming actresses and was directed, by a great actress herself, Greta Gerwig. And this just was a really well adapted, remake. And Florence Pugh Pudge was so amazing in the film as the Kirsten Dunst character, and I really enjoyed her and fell in love with her character. And I just loved the interaction and what she brought to the role. And I just enjoyed that she really brought a great presence to the character that gave us this really powerful performance. So when it comes to Florence's performance in Black Widow, I really enjoyed her. I thought she brought a great camaraderie, a great comedic element to the film, and just was a great opposite of Scarlett Johansson's character in the film. She just kept it very lively and very fun and just kept it moving very smoothly throughout the whole film, and I just really enjoyed this character that she brought to life, and the accent was actually pretty decent too in the film, and I thought that she worked really well off of Scarlett and all the other characters she portrayed and played with. And I just thought that Florence brought a great realness to this very first live-action encounter of Alina, as a character and bringing it to life in the MCU. Really great performance. If you haven't seen Florence in anything or haven't seen Black Widow yet, definitely go check it out now. Florence was fantastic in the film. So that brings me to the next actress I like to talk about. And that, of course, is Helena herself that's in Black Widow, Miss Rachel Weisz. Oh, yeah, Rachel Weisz. Woo! Rachel Weisz. Oh, my God. So, Rachel Weisz is my all-time Hollywood crush. She always will be. She always is. I've absolutely been in love with her since the very first time I saw her back in 1999. And she just is an amazing actress. Everything she's in, she's always fantastic in. From The Whistleblower to, films she did in the mid-90s. She has done a lot of great films. But a couple that I've really enjoyed and are my favorite of hers are as follows. Now, the first film happens to be a great film that came out in 1999 and is her debut as an amazing character in this great franchise. And that, of course, is The Mummy. Oh, yeah. The Mummy. Ooh. Absolutely loved her in this film. She was so fantastic as Evelyn. I loved her relationship with Brendan Fraser throughout the film. I thought they worked so well together, and they really felt like a real, true couple. And I just thought she was so fantastic in this film. She did such a great job. She was hilarious. She was action-packed. She was truly just an amazing character and a great interpretation of this Evelyn character. And I absolutely just loved pretty much any line she said throughout that whole film. It just was so on point and so well done. And just worked really well with the film, and just was a fantastic performance. If you haven't seen The Mummy, definitely check it out. Brendan Fraser was amazing in it too. So was Jonathan Hyde, and many of the other actors and actresses that were involved with that film were really fantastic in the film too. It's just a really well-rounded film by Stephen Sommers, but definitely, if you haven't seen it, check it out, people. It's a great remake as well. Now, the second film that Rachel was in that I really enjoyed her is a great comedy film starring Ben Stiller, Amy Poehler, and Jack Black. And that, of course, is a film called Envy. 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 This movie is so fantastic. It's a very underknown, gem that was just really fantastic that came out in 2003 that has Christopher Walken in it, too, as well. And it's just a really awesome film. And Rachel plays, actually, Ben Stiller's wife, and she is absolutely amazing in this film. I love the warmth she brought to the character. I love the attitude. I love how her relationship with Ben Stiller is in the film. I love her camaraderie with, Jack Black and Amy Poehler's character. And she just really brought a great sense of a, wife that's dealing with envy, how they would act, if their best friends end up becoming super wealthy rich. And it's an amazing role by Rachel, and I absolutely don't think she gets enough credit for how fun of a role it was and how enjoyable it was. If you haven't seen Envy, definitely give it a whirl, people. It's worth the watch. It's an amazing film. Really well done. Now, it comes to her performance in Black Widow. I absolutely fell in love with her character. She was absolutely awesome. I loved the the whole camaraderie with the whole family unit that they created for the film, and just how she interacted with them. And also, I just really enjoyed kind of like her sense of humor and kind of like her candor of how she had to react and how she has to act because she's under such a certain mind control and so forth, and that, you know, her allegiances are to the Red Room, but at the same time, you know, she starts to finally have the willpower not to allow that to control her. And I just really liked her evolution through the film. Really enjoyable, really awesome, and a great addition to that film. So that brings me to the last actor I like to talk about that was in this film, and that is Red Guardian himself, Mr. David Harbour. Oh yeah, David Harbour, woo! So David Harbour you might recognize from a slew of things over the years. You might know him from Stranger Things. You might know him from, like, other big films and so forth and stuff like that. You might recognize him from, of course, his cameo, small kind of part in The Suicide Squad and so forth. But a couple things I really enjoyed David in are as followed. Now, I know this film wasn't a huge hit when it came out in 2019. A lot of people panned it. They thought it was a horrible film. But I absolutely loved this version of this film. And I just thought that David did a great job with this film. And that, of course, is the film Hellboy. Oh, yeah. Hellboy. See, I absolutely thought this was a really great reincarnation of this character. I thought it was a really great outing. The action sequences, the CGI work, the acting, the writing was all very well done, I thought. I thought it was a really well-rounded film, and I just liked the place they took the film and how they really created a different version from Ron Perlman's Hellboy to this version of Hellboy, which I thought they did a good job of portraying. I thought David Harbour was so awesome as character, and I hope that he gets to play Hellboy again eventually, and it's just a really fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, definitely give it a try, people. Give it a chance. It's definitely not that bad of a film. It's really fun, and David Harbour is really fantastic in it. The second film that David Harbour was in that I really enjoyed him in is a great Johnny Depp film based on the life of Whitey Bulger. And that, of course, is a film called Black Mass. Oh, yeah. Black Mass. So Harbour actually plays like one of the FBI characters in the film and is just really good in it, I thought. I liked his presence of the character. I liked his delivery. I liked how he interacted with the people in the film. And I just really enjoyed the presence he gave us of, you know, what this FBI agent was like that had to deal with this situation that he was dealing with, and, you know, having to try to find Whitey Bulger and so forth and try to, you know, capture him and, you know, get him and stuff like that. And I just thought it was a really great job by David in giving us this really fantastic performance that I don't think he gets enough credit for, and how great of a performance it was and a great addition to that film. If you haven't seen Black Mass, definitely give it a roll, people. David was really great in it. But it comes to him playing Red Guardian Black Widow, oh my god, he was absolutely freaking awesome. He was so comical and awesome this film. I cracked up every time he was on screen because he just was that good at this character. I loved the camaraderie he had with bringing this character to life and just how he really embodied Red Guardian. I'm not very familiar with Red Guardian from the comics, but the Guardian that he became is exactly what I want the Red Guardian to be like, because he was just so good at the character. I mean, he had so many great one-liners. He, you know, when he started having certain conversations and, like, everyone's like, shut up, was super hilarious. And I just loved that fatherly type of figure he was trying to be. Even though it wasn't 100%, you know, correct or accurate, he still did a great job of performing it and, like, going with it. And I just thought he really brought a real essence to the character. Really fantastic. He was so awesome in this film. He's one of the reasons why I absolutely love this film. He was so good. If you haven't seen David Harbour or anything, or you haven't seen Black Widows, definitely check out him as Red Guardian. He was absolute perfection in this film. So what is Black Widow about? Basically, like I was saying before, this film is set between the end of Civil War and the beginning of Infinity War. And basically gives you, you know, basically like a little story of what Natasha was up to between the two films. And kind of like what she did to kind of make herself even more of, you know, an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. basically. And getting away from her previous assassin ways. And it gives you like this interesting story that isn't fully told, but still is really well done and told. Still very well and, you know, fantastic. If you haven't seen Black Widow yet, definitely go check it out now in theaters on Disney+. It's an amazing film. Really well done. I give this one 8 out of 10 stars, or movie boxes up, people. Definitely isn't my favorite, definitely isn't the worst of the MCU, but definitely is a really fantastic ride, and very enjoyable, and great to see Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow again. Even though, we lost her at the end of Endgame. It's a really fantastic performance. If you haven't seen it, definitely go check it out now. Worth the watch. So that's it for this movie review, guys. Always thank you for watching, thank you for liking, also thank you for subscribing. If this is your first time here, or you have been here before, don't forget to check out any older, newer videos you might not have seen on yet. And as always, people, check out my awesome links down below. Especially if you want to show some support for a guy, definitely check out my Patreon page where I do outtakes, bloopers, and all kinds of cool stuff like that. So definitely check that out. And also, if you're a huge horror fan, check out the Horror Pack, where you can get great horror films right to your door every month for a great low price. As always, people, catch you in the next one!